What is up, you guys? So in this video, I'm going to be going over Facebook and what exactly happened with its, most recent data breach, and kind of what that means for Facebook, how the market was reacting to it, kind of what exactly the hack entailed, and kind of where I think you could profit from this. So that's mainly going to be talking about, companies that I think will be able to turn a profit off of Facebook having an issue, and what are the ones most likely to get that money. So anyways, getting into it. So, for those of you that are new, my name's Dan. This is Millennial Investing. And I kind of just go over, stocks that I'm interested in, stocks that I'm following, tech-related subjects, things like that, and just, overall finance stuff. So if you like that stuff, stick around, like the video, make sure to subscribe, and let's get right into it. So Facebook this past week just kind of came out with the fact that they had roughly 50 million users were definitely exposed, and it was possibly up to 90 million users were affected by their first ever major direct hack. And so what happened in the hack, this article, I'll put it down in the comments below, for PC World kind of gives the, the easiest to digest version of what really is going on. And so ideally, because of the view as feature, a lot of hackers were able to exploit Facebook and how when you multi-login and shuffle between accounts and whatnot, you give an ability for, say, a hacker to step in and grab your token. Now, so the access token kind of goes into it right here, but it's realistically just kind of like think about it as like almost like an ID tag, that it's, okay, this device has logged into, say, Facebook, so I want to remember my password and save everything to it, so save all my features to it. And so if you have that token, you can, say, remote in from, say if I had your token and I threw it on my phone, I can use my phone to log into your computer, and Facebook's just going to assume it was one of your already trusted devices, and that'll give you the ability to, say, switch between any of your other accounts that are linked to your Facebook account, so such as your Spotify account, your Tinder account, anything like that. Anything that you can, say, log in with Facebook is going, assuming you have the access token of the individual's Facebook account, you can just log right into it without even needing to put in a password. So that's a bit of a big issue. Luckily, Facebook was pretty upfront about it, and they said that they're correcting the issue. So what they did is that they forced everybody that could have possibly been affected by it, they logged off all of their accounts. And what that does is, because this token, once you actually sign out and sign back in, will regenerate itself, so you have a completely new, unique access token. So it is a relatively easy fix as far as making sure it doesn't spread further anymore. But this one gives the ability to have a bunch of other hackers kind of look to Facebook right now and really try to exploit other issues. And no one really knows if this is the end of, the amount of exploiting that can be done ever since Facebook started to link so many things together. This actually was started apparently in July of 2017, so it's been quite a while that this type of issue has been going on. It's only recently been discovered. So it's going to be really interesting to see, how many accounts are going to say that, oh, well, my accounts were erased, or they, used my credit card or whatever here to buy something and send it to some place overseas. Anything that was, linked up through your Facebook account, because, a lot of individuals will link, say, a debit card or a credit card to their Facebook account. So theoretically, if you logged into them, you would have access to their cards. So a lot of issues that can possibly arise through this. So that's going to be, this could possibly become very volatile for Facebook in the next few weeks, mainly because it doesn't seem like the market really cared. So if I go to Facebook's chart, Facebook was down, about 3% or so on the day. And significantly different than what happened over here with the Cambridge Analytica scandal, which wasn't even a direct hack. It was more so Facebook was selling data it shouldn't have been selling. And this was directly, people stole the data without Facebook knowing it. So it's kind of interesting that this is kind of more, this is way more of a big deal than, say, the Analytica scandal, in my opinion, but the market didn't really care. And that's probably because a couple of things. One, I don't think the overall market knows exactly what this means. Everybody says, oh, Facebook was hacked. What does that mean? And no one really knows. So I think, one, it's because people don't really know what happened, and two, it doesn't nearly have as much pull because it's not, involving the presidential election, doesn't involve Trump, doesn't involve Hillary. So I think a lot of people just don't care, and they're kind of casting it aside. But this could potentially, bring a lot of issues for Facebook down the line, especially if people start, attempting to sue them, for loss of IP, things like that. So it's going to be interesting over the next few weeks to months to see how many incidents, if any, actually arise off of this. Facebook's being pretty proactive, and they were pretty upfront with it. So I don't think the damage is going to spread, but it really, Facebook's not in that hot of a spot right now, enough as it is, as you can see, just through this year. So it's going to be interesting to see, if this unravels into anything huge. So that's just kind of, a quick overview of what just happened with Facebook. And a lot of you probably already knew, something of it. And so I kind of want to go into what I think this means. So I think this could possibly lead to a very good opportunity in the cybersecurity sector. And ideally, one company comes to mind when I think who's going to benefit directly from this. And that company I'll get into in a little bit. But I kind of want to just look at, for example, you can pull up the cybersecurity ETFs. There's cyber, hack. This one I just pulled up, which is the broad index, I guess. Hack and cyber are realistically identical ETFs that track, 30 to 40 major cybersecurity companies. And, they've been up pretty well. They've been beating the market this past year. But not a lot of people, when they think about tech, not a lot of people focus on cybersecurity companies. And so I think that this offers somewhat of, exploitation, I guess. So when everybody's focused now on Facebook and everybody's thinking about it, okay, well, what happens next? What does Facebook need to do? And I think Facebook is going to need to, one, they're going to need to fix everything on their end, but they're also going to need to hire smaller companies to come in and test all of their servers. Because as some of you know that are more tech savvy, but if those of you that don't, you will never have a system that is safe from hacking. You cannot possibly have a system that just because of the way that as you update, say your firewall or you upgrade your security software, anytime that you do an update, there is some way to create a backdoor for a hacker to get in. And that's something that time and time again is, it's inevitable. There is no physical way to make something unhackable. So you can even look at the Pentagon. The Pentagon will get hacked on a daily basis. And there's nothing the government and all of their, budget for all their top secret information can get hacked daily. Obviously, a company like Facebook or any other company for that matter is going to always have a threat of getting a major security breach. So I definitely think that the indexes are probably going to, will be boosted over the short term because of this. I think a lot of people are going to start dumping money into cybersecurity companies. But the one that I think it's somewhat of a speculative play, but the one that I think is going to benefit most out of it is FireEye. So FireEye has, over the past couple of, I'd say about a year and a half now, has had two major reasons that the stock price went up. It's a very volatile stock. I can pull it up right now. And, it is, it's kind of been all over the place for the past year or so. This company isn't very profitable. It's fairly new, but it has already gone on a record with helping Google and Facebook in the past with data issues. So this article right here is about how it was helping Facebook with a terrorist group, making Facebook accounts and, doing things illegally and kind of using Facebook as the medium. So FireEye stepped in and allowed them to really, get rid of all of, they were able to find and exploit all the accounts and get rid of them. And so I definitely think that FireEye will probably be first on the list for who Facebook goes to really, once they kind of have their own software team kind of tighten up their security again. They're probably going to bring FireEye in to, stress test all of their systems and see exactly where any other exploits are. So I definitely think that FireEye is going to be getting a nice check in the meantime. That is pretty speculative, but I do think that FireEye, definitely keep your eyes out, because I think FireEye, if any news comes out of Facebook looking for, say, a possible company to hire for this, I do think FireEye will probably be the company that they go with. FireEye's, financials aren't really great. You know, if you look at it like, let's just go on Yahoo really quick. You know, they're not really, it's not really great. They're losing money. You know, their earnings are kind of all over the place. You know, if you just look at the trend going, they are making more revenue, and they're getting slightly more profitable, but they still don't really have, you know, any stable grounds. You know, they are a relatively small cap company. They're only $3 billion. So I think if they say become the go-to for Facebook and Google whenever they have data issues, and as we all know, data is kind of one of the biggest buzzwords of the past couple of years, especially with all of the issues involving Facebook and Google, and recently involving privacy and you know, user data. So I definitely think that this is a possible, you know, speculative play that kind of over the next couple of months could possibly have more weight to it and not just be, you know, purely speculative. So I kind of see one of two ways to play this. I see, okay, investing in the, you know, the broad cybersecurity market, just because cybersecurity is going to be something that is going to be a growing need over the next forever. We're never going to be at a point in time where we have a technology era and we don't need security. It's not nearly as sexy as, say, Facebook or Google or all the companies that make money hand over fist, but it's going to be a very stable industry that I think once people really start to understand the concept that you can't have a system that can't be hacked ever, I think cybersecurity companies are going to be getting a lot more money in the future. Probably not maybe this market cycle, but in the future. But that's just kind of a ramble. Just things I'm pointing out. So like when I worked in IT, I cannot tell you how many different security companies we had to contract with to, you know, we'd be using for our servers, we'd be using 5 to 6 different companies. And like I worked for a relatively small company, and the amount of money we'd throw at cybersecurity was ungodly, and like there was no one going after us. Like we definitely weren't like the Pentagon, like we didn't have a target on our back, and we were still dropping that much money into cybersecurity. That's mainly because, you know, you can have a worker, you know, click on a email link and, you know, kind of let the Trojan into your entire server. And then that'll infect other computers. So definitely, I do think cybersecurity is going to be huge, and I actually wanted to bring up a couple of stocks, you know, for October that I was looking into. FireEye, I think, directly off of the Facebook scandal, but there was a company, Checkpoint Software. It was a company I used to be invested in a couple of years ago, which has been recently regaining momentum, and I'll have to, you know, really brush up on it, but the company is pretty sizable. It's one of the larger cybersecurity plays, and they've been really executing well. Management's been really holding on the company well, and it also has no debt, and it's profitable, it's making money. It's not really in a high growth mode currently, but I do think that, you know, if more people start looking into cybersecurity based off of this, it'll be interesting to see what happens. So that's kind of it for you guys. This video didn't really have much, you know, planning. It was mainly just giving people an update on what my opinion was with Facebook and where I think there's money to be made. Normally, anytime that you hear a horrible headline and, you know, one company is losing money because of something, odds are, you know, you can figure out what makes that beneficial for someone else, and there will be money to be made. And so I think that's going to be in the cybersecurity industry, at least in the short term, and I definitely think it's going to affect FireEye in the not so distant future. So hope you guys found some use out of that. Let me guys know if you guys have, you know, any prior experience with FireEye or Checkpoint. I'd love to hear you guys. I know almost no one, especially on YouTube, talks about these two companies, and I'll be giving them probably a deeper dive in the next couple of weeks and kind of like going over, you know, the differences between them as a whole in the cybersecurity industry as a whole. So yeah, let me know if you guys are interested in that, and hopefully my IT experience will be of some use to you investors. So yeah, hope you guys liked it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.